All right. Hey, everybody. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to actually come in and kind of get settled, and then we'll begin. Hopefully, people actually show up. And I'm sorry about yesterday. I'm sorry about all the technical issues. And we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, everything actually goes normal today. So, yeah. So we'll give everybody another minute or two to kind of come in, and we'll get started. Yep, this time I actually brought a drink. All right. Hi. All right. So for anybody who showed up yesterday, yeah, unfortunately we had some technical issues. And if anything happens again today, I'm gonna give it like one more shot somewhere down the line. And then if that doesn't work, and then I'll pretty much play it by ear at that point. I will either try another live, or I'll just record a whole bunch of videos, just like on the phone, like with the normal camera that I use. And but I'm planning on today working. So don't start running away because of what I just said. I'm planning on today working. So far everything is holding. There's been no issues. So yeah, we'll see how today goes. All right, so yeah, for anybody who is just tuning in, this is the live watch-along commentary for After We Collided. And before we get started here, let me go ahead and give my overall general opinions of the film. I was actually very low on the film when it first came out. I actually noticed that there were actually a lot of problems and a lot of issues that I had with the film. But the more that I actually watched the film, and the more times I actually watch it, especially seeing it with Roger's commentary on the DVD Blu-ray, I actually end up enjoying it a lot more and more and more and more each time I actually, view the film. And so now I'm actually a little bit higher on the film. There are still a lot of issues with the film. There's still a lot of things that I think I'm never going to get over. And we'll kind of talk this through as the film goes along, including one scene that to me, I think is probably like one of the worst scenes in the actual film. And not because of Hero and Joe, but because of other things in the scene. But yeah, this actually is going to be a lot of fun. I hope we have a lot of fun. And we are starting at the very beginning again, since I will be saving this thing. I will be starting at the very beginning, so this will be like yesterday never happened. So for anybody who actually watches this video, like this is starting at the very beginning. And you know what? We're gonna go ahead and start this thing to kind of get this thing kicked off, and let's have some fun. And press. Come on, computer. Come on. All right, so of course this is the Voltage Pictures logo that is actually here playing over this the thing. And like Roger Cumble said, I love that this logo is just basically, wake up. If I can actually get this thing to play, come on. on. Come on, Amazon Prime. Amazon! Come on, Amazon Prime. All right, yeah, start. All right, so yeah, this is actually the Voltage Picture logo. And one of the things I actually love about Roger's commentary is that he literally says, like the Voltage Pictures logo, wake up! And of course, there's the Wattpad logo, which is where this whole thing actually started. And of course, the original opening here was the nightmares and then heading into the nightmares, the bed scene with Tessa and Hardin, where Tessa says in the trailer, I promise I'll never leave you. And then we start pretty much like with After We Collided, with the film actually, kind of kicking off, and with Hardin in the car. I'm actually I'm actually okay with this opening. I understand why they had to do. I would have preferred them doing the actual the original opening versus this, but I mean, again, you kind of got to do that previously on after, because you never know whether or not people will actually, when they're actually walking in, you won't know if they'll actually have seen the first film. So you kind of want to do this, and they kind of even realized that they had some footage for the first film, because the first film ends in such a way that it really doesn't help their film. It doesn't really help After We Collided. And but they were actually very lucky, because like when Joe and Hiro are sitting at the end of the dock, they did not call cut, and so they do have that little moment of Joe literally kind of like leaning over and kind of like leaning her head onto Hiro. And so they were actually very lucky that they were actually able to get to actually be able to actually use this footage, and I think that this does work great. And they actually recorded that that voiceover during Jennifer Gibgott's birthday party. Yeah, they actually recorded it over because it's like a whole bunch of them were like hanging out, and they kind of wanted to do this thing. They kind of wanted to try this thing out, and so they kind of got Hiro on the phone and asked him to record the voiceover that you actually heard in that opening. And who we actually have here coming up is, of course, the homeless man. And I'm going to go ahead and pretend that like everybody watching this knows where this whole movie is going. I'm going to go ahead and pretend like everybody watching this actually, knows the film. This is not your first viewing of this film. But of course, this is Stephen Rollins playing Tessa's dad. And of course, he says, oh, I'm looking for somebody. Because if he actually said, oh, I'm looking for Tessa, the film is over. Like, the film is over right here, right now. And unfortunately, Stephen Rollins is not coming back for After We Fell and After We're Happy. So, but we do not know who is playing Richard at this point. And of course, here we have like the little so close yet so far, just kind of like showing this, and it's like Clay, yeah, Clay, yeah. The fandom loves Clay. Clay is the Uber driver. I think that she's amazing. She's an amazing comedian out of Atlanta. But yeah, I love Clay. I love the Uber driver. Clay is just amazing. And of course, here we have the new and improved Vance Publishing. Yeah, the new and improved Vance Publishing. If you remember the first film, it was like this very tiny little thing, which is, it's fine, but, we're going to kind of need like that bigger room. And of course, here we have Dylan Sprouse as Trevor, as fucking Trevor. I actually really like Dylan Sprouse as a person. I'm a Sweet Life of Zach and Cody is my shit, and I actually do love these two together. Even though I will rant about Trevor over another section of the film, I will talk about my feelings toward the Trevor character and why Trevor just really disturbs me as a character, especially in the film. In the book, I didn't really have that many issues with Trevor. But in the film, I definitely did have a lot of issues with Trevor. Nothing to do with Dylan Sprouse, nothing to do with his acting. I mean, I can't blame him for the script, and I can't blame him for for the direction that. And of course, here we have two very new characters, Kimberly Vance and Christian Vance, played by the wonderful Candace King and Charlie Weber. Unfortunately, they will not be returning for After We Fell and After Ever Happy. They will be replaced by Ariel Kebbel and Stephen Moyer for the next two films. But I love these two actors. These two are amazing actors, and I wish that they were able to actually continue, even if Christian Vance is not pretty much like the book. And that little moment that you had, the shut the fuck up and listen to me, that was pretty much like a little wink and a nod to book readers about where this is actually going. And this is about a good time as any to pretty much sit here and sing the praises of Josephine Langford. Joe is amazing in this. This is going to become, the Joe, praise commentary, just like Roger's commentary a lot of the time turned into Joe, praise. She's amazing in this. And one of the things that I did love about this film, and I really do appreciate Roger Kumble for, is actually showing off her comedic side in this film. And I do love this relationship between these two. They did have great chemistry together. And that is actually a little Joe moment, the little spin. And again, I'm actually very happy with Roger Kumble actually showing off her comedic side in this film. And a little deleted scenes information. While Tessa is here burning the midnight oil, there was actually a deleted scene where she actually is like walking along the halls of Vance Publishing, and she sees Christian and Kimberly getting it on. And I got to bring up the same thing that Roger Kumble did during his commentary. Joe is the kind of person that you could mess up her hair. You could have like the drool coming off of the side of her face, do no makeup, and she still looks drop dead gorgeous. No matter like, even like when you try to, mussy her up, like ugly her up, mess her up a little. She still looks drop dead amazing in this. And of course, we are getting a little bit, of Charlie Weber's Christian Vance. Not really toward the book. I don't think that his character is actually really accurate, with the book. But I do love Charlie Weber, and I'm happy that they were actually able to get him for this film. And this is about the point where I started to say, all right, this is moving a little bit too fast. And I'm not saying anything out of school. I'm not saying anything, that people don't already know. And this little moment coming up, where Tessa says, oh, we're closing the door. That was actually a little Joe moment that she and Roger came up with. Oh, shut up, Trevor. Oh, fuck you, Trevor. All right, so yeah, this little van is actually a little wink and a nod to Jason Blum, who runs Blumhouse. who is a friend of Roger Cumble's. Apparently, this is like the kind of van that he has. Apparently, he does his work out of the office van. All right, so here we have the tattoo shop artist, and originally there was supposed to be a scene here between the tattoo shop artist and another woman, and it was actually in the production script, but somebody said, like a lot of people said, like, oh, this is going to be gratuitous, so let's go ahead and take it out. And they actually had to redress this whole tattoo shop because apparently they could not get the rights to some of the images, so they did have to like redress the tattoo shop. This is actually a real tattoo shop, but they did have to do some changes because they could not get the actual rights. And apparently this is a golf resort. In the commentary, Roger actually revealed that this is actually a golf resort, actually. Yeah, this is about a good time as any just to kind of say, like, every time Trevor is on, I kind of just want to punch him. I'm sorry, I just have like an irrational hatred of Trevor in this movie. Not in the book. I'm fine with him in the book. And I love these two together, Joe and Candace. And this little moment coming up here where they're kind of talking, and Joe kind of has that look when, or Tessa has the look when Kimberly says, oh, we're more than coworkers. Well, that's actually a little callback to the deleted scene where Tessa saw Kimberly and Vance getting it on in the office. And there's our first mention of Smith, played by Max Ragone. And of course, our baby, Max! Oh, Max! Unfortunately, he's not coming back for the next two films, but I'm gonna miss him because, man, baby, protect this boy at all cost. And here's sort of like the beginning of Tessa's arc in this film, where she decides to go commando. And this is also like setting the stage for actually a pretty funny line in the Club Seattle sequence. And of course, we are bringing back Hardin into this. And kind of like setting the stage for the Vance and Hardin relationship there. And of course, here we are back at the apartment, the loft. And this is actually a new tattoo for the film, for this one. This was not in the first film. Anna, apparently, she wanted to add that tattoo on his arm. And I think that she actually made a great decision there. I actually can give her praise for that. And of course, there we have our first glimpse of the snake. And the supervillain origin story for this fandom, the boots. But I do love that moment in Roger's commentary where he just flat out says, yeah, I like the boots. Come talk to me. Come see me. But yeah, no, those boots are this fandom, or a lot of people in this fandom's villain origin stories. And of course, here we are in the Seattle club. And always remember, when you're watching a scene like this, in this film or in any film, and of course, here's the cameo of Anna, Beatrice Cumble, Roger Cumble's daughter, and Jennifer Gibgot. But yeah, when you're actually watching scenes like this, always remember that when people are dancing and when there are club scenes like this, that they never have music playing during these scenes. So they're pretty much dancing to nothing during these scenes. And the Ohio football is actually a callback to the books. Is actually something taken from the books. And again, this is just like showing a little bit more of like Tessa being out of water. And one of the things that they found out is that Dylan Sprouse can actually speak Mandarin. And so originally they had, like the entire thing in English and, kind of, just like, but they wanted to kind of play up a little bit more of Tessa being like, fish out of water during all of this. And so they just tried it, like, just have, like Trevor and the guys start speaking Mandarin. But yeah, that's a little Dylan Sprouse behind the scenes that Dylan can actually speak Mandarin. And this is an actor. His name is Fang. The actor who plays Mr. Zhang. And of course, here we are at the frat house, and I'm going to say something very controversial here, and I'm going to point out that there's no drink in that actual shot glass. But I'm going to say something very controversial here. I was actually fine. All of the frat gang are actually perfectly cast. Now, I'm going to get very hypocritical when I say something during the New Year's Eve sequence, but I do want to give credit where credit is due and say that I think that the frat gang is perfectly cast. Sam as Zed, Khadijah as Steph, Pia Mia as Tristan, and of course Inanna Sarkis as Molly. I do think that they are perfectly cast, and if they were doing this thing more like the books, I would still cast these same people. And of course, I was kind of talking a little bit over this, but we are back at the club, and Tessa is getting a little bit more drunk as this goes on. And this, to me, is the Molly and Hardin relationship from the books. Like how these two interact in this movie. It is the Hardin and Molly relationship. I don't know what the hell that first movie was. I don't know where they were getting that from. But yeah, no, this is more accurate to the and Inanna is Molly is just one of those characters that you love to hate. And like everything out of her mouth is just and let's just like just kind of like bask in the glory that is Josephine Langford dancing. Again, remember, no music playing during this, so this is all Joe. And apparently, this was actually Hero's day off. So yeah, it was originally not planned for him to be in this club sequence, but they actually called him in and said, "Hey, we might use you," and he was actually kind enough to actually come in on his day off and perform this kiss and this whole scene with the Hardin vision that I think the entire fandom can kind of agree that is probably like one of the best kisses in the film. I've seen like a lot of people, hype up this kiss and say how great it was. So yeah, Hero was not even slated to come in this day. This was his actual day off, and he was kind enough to actually come in and do this for him. And again, just like everything out of Molly's mouth is pretty much setting up of her to get her comeuppance during the New Year's Eve party sequence. She's just a character that you love to hate, and I think that Inanna plays that perfectly. Yeah, just remember, I'm actually praising these people in this scene when I do whatever I do during the New Year's Eve party sequence. Just try to remember that. Okay, you could have cut that. That could have been deleted. But yes, yes, Joe, you look hot. Yeah, Tessa. Go, Tessa. And of course, here we have the drunk call, and I can't be the only one who even like this, even though this scene is like so funny, I cannot be the only one who flashed on 50 Shades during this drunken call. I cannot be the only one. And Joe just again playing drunk is hard. It is not easy as an actor to play drunk, and Joe just nails it. And she's just like so funny in this scene. I'm the commander. Yeah, this is just sue me. This is a funny scene. Like, yeah, some of his comedy, Roger's comedy did land. So sue me. I know that a lot of people had a problem with them adding comedy into this thing, but you know what? There are a lot of funny moments in this movie. And this was a lot of Trevor stuff is improvised. So yeah, I'm drunk, uncomfortable, and I saw a fawn on the ground. That is actually Dylan's improvisation. Rogers only, and this little was actually not in the script. Oh, you look so creepy there, boy. And again, just playing drunk is just a bitch. And so yeah, this whole thing coming up, where she tips the glass onto his shirt. What basically happens is that you pretty much have one go at that, like one or two goes at that, because then you're pretty much down for however long it takes to wash that thing out of the shirt. So you pretty much only have one go at this. And we're kind of starting to realize that when Tessa gets drunk, she kind of gets a little bit touchy. And again, I mean, how can you not fall in love with this girl? I am going to attack Trevor during one of the sections of this thing. But yeah, so yeah, it was you have one go at that, because then you're going to be down for however long it takes to get that thing out of the shirt. And Roger's only direction to Hero in this was, "Where's that fucker?" But yeah, I mean, I can't blame Trevor. How do you not fall in love with this girl? And also, how can we get Dylan out of his pants? Let's get Dylan. And they actually screwed up here a little bit. Roger and his editor realized late in the game that they did not get a coverage for fucking Trevor. So they actually had to, scrounge up what little money they had and to come back in. So yeah, the fucking Trevor is a reshoot, because they did not get actually a close up of him saying "fucking Trevor." And so yeah, Brian Pitt and some of the producers actually were able to find some money to get them to kind of come in and do that fucking Trevor. So I know that there are people who. That's actually a fair point. I'm the one taking advantage of drunk girls. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna say some stuff about Trevor during one of the sections of this movie. And I know that from the books, this is a little bit controversial. But this is from the book. This is a sex scene directly from the book. And no fandom, I'm sorry to break your hearts, but there is no extended scene when it comes to this scene. I'll explain in a second about that. Yeah, Hardin's like, you don't have to tell me twice. Like yeah, boy. Like you don't even have to tell me twice. Like, and I don't care what anybody says. These two have chemistry, and yeah, I mean, earning that R rating. I mean, making use of the R rating. And hello, Hardin. Although I will side with like some people on Twitter that I've actually seen where people will say, you know, like how can you do scenes like this and not catch feelings for your co-stars? I know they're professional, so before anybody says it, I know they're professional. But yeah, that was actually a nice little moment there with the "Do you have a condom?" Safe sex, people, because you really don't get that in a lot of teen movies or teen entertainment. So that is actually a very nice. It's always nice when they decide to do that. And a little behind the scenes, there is no extended sex scene. Unfortunately, there is no extended Seattle sex scene. Uh, they just went way too overboard when it came to the production design of this and the set design of this movie and of this particular scene. And Roger firmly admits that, like, oh yeah, no, we just went like way too overboard. We just went like way too far. But yeah, there is no extended scene because like we see like the handprints, we see like the food tipped over, and there's a little great little physical comedy from Joe. And of course, we're back into like kind of like the playful tone there for a second, the comedic tone for a minute there. And coming up, this is actually an homage to Austin Powers with the hiding hero's nudity during this scene. Hiding him behind the chair, hiding behind him, at the vase. If you've seen Austin Powers, you should kind of get like a little wink and a nod to that. And of course, now Tessa is playing the straight man to Hardin in this scene. And yeah, like I said, this is a little wink and a nod to Austin Powers, kind of like hiding him behind the chair, just like finding like creative ways to hide the fact that he is just naked. And these two really do play well off of each other. These two really do have like some great back and forth with each other. So yeah, I don't know how people actually say that. Oh, these two have zero chemistry, or these two are terrible actors. I'm not seeing it. I've never seen it in any of these films. And of course, my Tessa would never kiss a fucking stranger. And coming up a little behind the scenes, and I'm sure everybody kind of knows this. That was actually done in one take. Like he did that. Like he actually got that like right there at the very beginning. My Tessa would never kiss a fucking stranger at the club. And here's a little behind the scenes. She actually hit him in the balls during one of the takes with that roll. So that is why he sort of like winces to the side when she throws it the second time. When she actually just like tosses the. And this was like one of the moments coming up where I was like, I'm totally kidding. Where I remember on Twitter, some of us were just kind of like, fucking around with some non-book readers, and we were kind of doing like that treading Hardin and Trevor joke. And so yeah, but it actually found its way into this film, and I just like screamed out, I was totally kidding. Like I didn't mean for you to put that in there. But again, this is also a little bit of a way to kind of get out some exposition and to deal with sort of like giving her like some of the backstory here. We were best friends, and then we became like again. I was like, I was totally kidding. I was totally kidding. But yeah, it found its way into the film. And of course, this is a little wink and a nod to Cruel Intentions with the sunglasses on Kimberly and Vance, which is such like a Catherine and Sebastian moment with the sunglasses. And now, the person who is the one of the greatest things about this film, other than Hero and Joe, the man, the myth, the legend, the person who felt like he was taken directly from the books and dropped right into the film, Shane Paul McGee! Shane, 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 Shane! In case you can't tell, I am in love with Shane. I love Shane Paul McGee, and I'm so heartbroken that he will not be returning for the next two films. But I'm sure Chance is going to do great. And so originally there was a deleted scene here where it actually revealed that Tessa is actually listening on from the upstairs window. But apparently what happened was they showed the scene or they showed the film to like some friends and a test screening audience. And one of the comments that they got back was, how did Tessa teleport from Seattle there? So they just did not have time to shoot the in-between. So not only did we lose Tessa, hearing from Hardin that he didn't sleep with Molly, but we also lost Landon's very memorable line, just because he doesn't love you the way that you want him to doesn't mean he doesn't love you the way that he should. And they still should have had Hardin tell Tessa that he didn't sleep with Molly. No, we should not have gotten, this little moment from like Landon telling her. No, we should have actually had the scene between Hardin and Tessa. If you can't give me the scene, where she overhears it, then at least have him say it. So I will kind of like knock them for that, because they should have had that a scene of Hardin telling her. And I know that a lot of the people in the fandom are going to agree with that, since I saw like that criticism pop up more than once. And he got her a brand new car. Oh, good God. Yeah, just like bank all of this for when I go off on Trevor, because I will go off on Trevor at some point during this live watch along. And again, no knock to Dylan Sprouse. He's doing fine. He's doing great. I mean, he's fine in this. And the glasses are a little wink and a nod to Sebastian from Cruel Intentions. And he even kind of does look like a young Ryan Phillippe. He really does. And that was actually a little Dylan thing. Dylan had the idea to actually like run into the wall. And hopefully you cannot see Roger Cumble in the back because apparently he is crouching down there in the back. And the reason why they had to park the car is because they just could not, make it work in terms of the traffic and in terms of everything. And there's a little shout out to book readers with the mention of Dakota. And they did space. They did kind of screw up here with the Joseph Stalin line, and even Roger admits that in the commentary, where no, Tessa and Stalin do not share the same birthday. Tessa's birthday is actually a little bit, I think like a day before Stalin's. But I do love Shane and Joe together. They have amazing, amazing, amazing chemistry, and they are Tessa and Landon taken right from the books. Tessa and Landon are my like my greatest ship from the books. Like they are my greatest, the friendship, the relationship between Tessa and Landon. I love them together, and I thought that Shane and Joe just completely knocked it out of the park. And of course, here we have coming up the expansion of the loft. Because originally, remember, it was like a one-bedroom thing in the first film. And this was actually all built on a set. This is not actually a real location. They built this whole thing on a set. So, shout out to the production designers. Shout out to the set designers, set decorators, because this really does look great. And of course, here we have, we're going to get a little bit of a, hang on. And of course, here we have the Kindle for Tessa's birthday. And there's a little Cruel Intentions homage. And here we have a flashback to, I think, like one of the greatest scenes of the first film, the scene of Tessa and Hardin in the library. And again, Joe is just great in this. And pause. All right, so I kind of want to talk this through here. One of the things that Roger Cumble brought up during his commentary, and before he talked about it in the commentary, I rolled my eyes so hard because he kept comparing After We Collided and Cruel Intentions. And one of the things that he said during the commentary of not Cruel Intentions, heavens, After We Collided, is that he really does view After We Collided as sort of like a pseudo sequel to Cruel Intentions. And before he started, because he did actually expand on this in the commentary, one of the questions that I always had, with Roger Cumble was, if you were not so beholden to the source material on Cruel Intentions, would you have killed Sebastian off? Would you have killed Sebastian during like at the end of Cruel Intentions, and he really does view After We Collided as sort of a like the big question of like, can Sebastian be redeemed? Like, is Hardin capable of redemption? And the way that he views a lot of this film, or especially like up until the office sex scene, it really is that big question of, is this character capable of redemption? Is he worthy of redemption? And he really kind of like looks at that like that's pretty much like the overarching theme of this first part of the movie, is the theme of redemption. Is this person, is Hardin worthy of redemption? Is he capable, of being worthy of redemption? And I kind of just wanted to bring that up a little bit, because I think that was actually like so interesting, and I think like such like a 180 for how I felt when he first started to say that Cruel Intention, or that he views After We Collided as a sort of like pseudo sequel to Cruel Intentions. So yeah, let's go ahead and keep going, and I'm gonna be talking about this amazing actress who is coming up. Uh, Louise Lombard, who plays Trish. Again, just like Shane Paul McGee, another actor who just feels like so like the character, and I'm so happy that she's coming back, because from the moment that she walks on screen, um, she is Trish. She is Trish from the moment she walks on screen, and I cannot wait to see her more in After We Fell and After Ever Happy. Louise Lombard, everybody! And she's so great in this. And I think that Hero's reactions during this entire scene are funny as hell. Green hair and a piece of piercing. And what he pretty much viewed this scene as, this is a farce. This is like a little bit like noises off, like this is like pretty much like a farce. This whole boom 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 like back and forth that like these people are having. And that could be a little wink and a nod to book readers, that they did go back to the bet of the books. And again, she is Trish. I don't care what anybody says. Louise Lombard is Trish. Like, from the moment she walks on screen, she just owns this role. And I'm loving the fact that she is going to come back for the next two films. I mean, Shane broke my heart, but Louise Lombard would have killed me. Shane not coming back broke my heart, but Louise Lombard not coming back, I think that would have just broken me. And we have this, and I still don't know if that is actually Hero, or if that's just like a random kid, because I just want to picture the production team just like sitting there like looking at different pictures and going like, nope, dead ass. And these two just play so well off of each other. Louise Lombard and Josephine Langford, they just play so well off of each other. And of course, this little a little knowing look from Louise Lombard, Trish, is a little wink and a nod to book readers. If you guys know what's coming up, what the big reveal is going to be. And here we have just like this little soft moment of him just being like a complete and total mama's boy. Just like how soft he is with his mom. And this is the scene where I would have thrown in the, if I was actually directing this, if I was editing it, this is where I would have thrown in the I never slept with Molly. I mean, I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback. I mean, the film is what it is. But I'm just saying that if I was directing this movie, if I was writing it, if I was, editing it, this is where I would have thrown in the I never slept with Molly. And again, I mean, you can never say it enough. I mean, these two do have chemistry. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody tries to start drama with. These two have chemistry. Joe and Hero do have chemistry. If they're not together in real life, like they do have on-screen chemistry. And I don't care what anybody says. And this upcoming shot of him kind of like running his fingers around her belly button is actually a callback to the first film. That shot that we saw in the first film during the lake scene. And I'll be watching the credits to see during like the special thanks to see, because I was watching the film recently and I don't remember seeing Victoria's Secret in the special thanks shout out during the credits. And I love this moment. The moment of like, all right, that's enough. All right, a few more seconds, a few more seconds, a few more seconds. Yeah, I really do love this moment of like, we should stop. All right, three, two, one. They just can't stay away from each other. Yeah, I just said something like that thing, like everybody just yay, Charles, say the obvious. And this upcoming moment is actually from the books. Like, see Hardin like this, like, what way happy? Like, yeah, that's actually just taken like right from the books. And of course, here we're going to have, two characters. But first, let me just go ahead and mention this. This is a song from the Fray. Anna was actually very passionate about getting, a song from the Fray. And Candace King is actually married to the songwriter of the Fray, the lead singer, somebody connected to the Fray. But yeah, we have the introduction or the reintroduction of Noah and Carol, played by Dylan Arnold and Selma Blair. Okay, am I the only one who feels like they're playing Noah gay in this? That he is getting a little that he is like a little fabulous. So like am I the only one who is like not no like just noticing that? I mean, Dylan Arnold is great, but like, am I the only one who is like noticing that they're kind of playing him as gay? And it was so great that they were able to get Selma Blair back, and that was actually like one of the things that Roger Cumble was actually very passionate about, is getting Selma Blair back to actually come back as Carol. Unfortunately, she was not able to come back for the next two films. I just think that with her health issues and with everything else going on, she just would not have been able to come back. But it is great that they were able to get her back for this scene. And they actually filmed this at her house, way after the fact. And the reason why they're kind of holding the phones like they are is because originally this was supposed to be a FaceTime call. This was not just supposed to be like talking on the phone, but this was supposed to be like a FaceTime call. And apparently it just didn't work out. It looked weird in the editing. So yeah, they just changed it to like just a normal phone call. But if you ever wonder, like, okay, why are they holding the phones, weird like that? Like, why are they, holding the phones like they are? It's because this was supposed to be a FaceTime call. But yeah, Mira Sorvino is taking over the role of Carol for the next two films. For anybody who doesn't know. And so in the script, there was a scene where Tessa kind of like stops by the side of the road, breaks down, calls Hardin, but because of the fast production schedule, they just were not able to film it. So if you're wondering, like, why did we not get the scene of Tessa, breaking down and calling Hardin, that is why, because it was in the script, but they just did not have time to film it, and I hated it. They didn't get that. And in the commentary, Roger Cumble revealed that like these nightmares bounced around so much during this. Like during the editing process, like the nightmares just like bounced around so much. Of like, okay, where are we gonna put the nightmares? Because like I said, originally it was supposed to be the opening, and this is also like this is the scene that was supposed to be in the opening, and that is why when you're watching this, like why does Tessa have a dark shirt? During this scene, but like in the very next scene, she's wearing a gray sweatshirt. That is because, again, this was supposed to go in the opening. This was not supposed to, originally, this wasn't supposed to go right here. But yeah, that is why she all of a sudden changes shirts from the previous scene to this scene, is because that was originally supposed to be the opening. And let me go ahead and talk about this scene right here. I'm so not going to pause this, but I can just like talk over this. This is, I think, like one of my favorite scenes in the film, because this is like one of those rare scenes in this movie where it feels like everything came together. The music, the writing, the cinematography, the acting, like everything just came together. And these two actresses just knocked this scene out of the park. And again, when you're with Josephine Langford and Louise Lombard, of course they're going to knock this scene out of the park. And I mean, and Louise and Joe, I mean, they just break your heart in this scene. I mean, like I said, like this is like one of my favorite scenes in this film. It's like one of those rare scenes in this movie that it just feels like everything came together. And Hardin, of course, had to come in and say, and I think this is about as good a time as any to kind of. This is where I think the comedy does fail this movie. Where, and this has actually been a criticism of even the Marvel films, where they always undercut, like these very serious moments with the comedy. And again, like we never can just breathe with that. Like, because again, like we have this great, amazing, dramatic scene. And again, like we immediately got to jump into, like, oh, did you brush your teeth? Like, like, oh, what are you two talking about? Like, oh, you got to brush your teeth. And of course, here we have, Tessa's perfect day. Uh, this is another scene where it's like, how do you film this? Like, how do you, you're not going to do this as like a montage. And funnily enough, when you actually see them in this close up right here, they are not actually skating. They are actually being pulled along on this rug type thing, sled, basically. And of course, that was not Hero, that was his stuntman, because of course you're not going to slam Hero onto the ice. I've been slammed on the ice, and I can tell you it is not fun and it hurts. But yeah, apparently they got them lessons, and they just could not, skate. Again, like, this is like another one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Like another one of my favorite scenes. And there goes the stuntman again, because it's like, again, you're not gonna slam Hero onto the ice. And this is actually a real yoga studio with a real yoga teacher. And of course, I mean this isn't from the book, but I mean that there is a yoga scene in the book, but of course this is not in the book. And that is actually a shot taken from Famous in Love, starring Danielle Campbell and Carter Jenkins, who will be playing Robert in the next two movies. And Roger's direction to like all the extras in this was just basically make it erotic. Like make it pleasurable, make it erotic. Like just do like the most erotic poses that you can. And of course, again, I mean, you have like these great moments between Hero and Joe. And again, like this scene is just erotic. It's just like, you know, just hearing the words like wider, wider, wider. And then just another scene of like, oh, this was a bitch to shoot. Because it's like when you get wet, like you're down for so long. I mean, trying, you know, to dry off and trying to, you know. And Roger is actually like right there on the ground, just like shouting different things at them, you know, trying to like give them like different things to say. So yeah, he was actually directing like right there in the shower with them. And this upcoming thing is not it's not Hero and Joe in terms of like um the little body lotion, the body conditioner little moment. Um, Roger actually unscrewed the top on that, so no, that was not, you know, some happy little accident. Like Roger planned that. But yeah, they're troopers. I mean, because like this happens, but yeah, this is their real reactions when that happened. And again, they just kept. I mean, they're professionals, so it was like, no, keep going, keep going. But yeah, Roger is apparently like laying like right there in the edge, like in there, they're in the shower with them, like you know, literally just like shouting out different directions at them. And for anybody who is missing the shower head, you know, from the book, apparently they did try it and they did actually shoot it, but it just looked wrong. It looked wrong and weird because apparently they could not get the water pressure right. The water pressure just looked like way too awkward. So yeah, they did film, you know, something with the shower, but they could not get the water pressure right. So yeah, for anybody who is missing the shower head, like that is the reason why. And notice how the only nudity in this film, which is kind of like a callback to Cruel Intentions, is Hero Fifin. Like the butt, like that is like literally, I think, like the only nudity that we see in the movie. Max! Max! Baby Max! 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 And if you look very closely, which just makes him, you know, all the more of a baby, and this is actually his first role. And again, he knocks this out of the park. I love Max in this. He's great as Smith, and unfortunately, he's not coming back, you know, for the next two movies. He's being replaced by Anton Kotas. And if you look very closely, you can actually see his body jerking a little bit because apparently he had the hiccups during the scene. So, baby Max. Oh, and Sound hated Roger for this with the trains and everything. Like Sound so hated Roger for this. And also, he's a dad, so he said like, you know, oh, I don't like, you know, kids cursing, and you know, like this kid just going like fuck shit, fuck shit. And I love the relationship between Hardin and Smith, and this is actually a little nod to Cruel Intentions, a little hop and a skip that Hardin does there. But the one thing that I do wish is that I wish that that we did get like some more scenes from the book in terms of Smith and Hardin. And especially during the party at the very end of the movie, we are missing some, key moments, and also some stuff. I mean, like if they did, film this, not here in the office, but like in the actual, where they're back in the apartment. Another one of these scenes in this film that I really do love. And these are the scenes that I really do love in this film. I love the erotic moments, but I love the sweet, quiet moments even more. And like Roger said, you could pretty much like end the film here, like in because like this is like the emotional, this is like a big climax here in the first 59 minutes, where again we have answered the question that I kind of brought up earlier on in this commentary, with like, does Hardin deserve a second chance? Is he worthy of redemption? And like this is the scene that this answers the question. He is. We are on his side. We want these people to get back together. And you could pretty much have like a roll credits moment right after this, and we would end on an upbeat, positive note. And this was a little bit of a like, because like nobody told him that it's fake. So yeah, like that actually is his reaction. Excuse me, if anybody actually heard that. And I mean, what more can you say about this scene? I mean, it's a great scene. And that's actually one of my favorite lines of the book too. Don't say two sounds like you're agreeing with me. And movie over, and like roll credits. Like this is it. Like Hessa's happy, Hessa's together. Hessa's reunited. They said I love you. Roll credits. But of course, we still have another 40 minutes to go. So, and of course, Ken has to ruin it. Now we have like a whole other 40 minutes to go with this. Ken just had to ruin it. And we have two new actors joining the franchise, Karima Westbrook from All American and Rob Estes from the 90210 remake, Melrose Place, a whole bunch of stuff. I love both of these actors. Rob Estes is actually coming back for the next two movies, but unfortunately, Karima Westbrook, she just could not work out the schedule with All American and with the coronavirus and all the stuff that's going on with that. So Frances Turner will be taking over the role of Karen for the next two movies. And those pants. And I'm actually very happy that Roger, during the commentary and in other places, has actually said that Ken deserves it. Ken deserves to get punched. Because like the first time I watched this film, I wasn't exactly sure if like I should be on Hardin's side or not. Because like I said from the very beginning, I'm on Hardin's side during all of this scene. And I really do get like where Hardin is coming from. And basically the reason why we got this montage is because like Roger said, like it is kind of I'm not agreeing with this, but I do get what he's saying, where he says like, oh, it's very boring, like, oh, Ken, or Karen, Tessa, Trish, like, just like introducing people. And I swear this sounds like John Legend. Am I the only one who thinks that the person singing this cover of "Oh Christmas Tree" is John Legend? Because like it sounds so much like him. But give me Trish and not Trish. Give me Tessa and Karen interacting, people. Like you had that relationship from the books, and you have yet to do it. So give me a Karen and Tessa relationship. Damn it. And again, Ken is just acting like such a douchebag in this scene. And I'm actually very happy that that Roger did say that, like, oh yeah, no, like Ken deserves this. Like Ken deserves to get punched. And that he is on Hardin's side during all of it. And this is just because again, you see the resentment here. I mean, you see the whole, like, oh, they're skiing in Aspen. Like, oh, Landon is getting, this great dad that I never got, and I'm on Hardin's side. And basically, what Roger said during the commentary is that all of this is like pretty much like it's pushing him toward that bottle. Like, how can we get Hardin to pick up that bottle? And of course, this person coming up who's like walking outside is not Hero. That is actually Hardin's. That is actually somebody else. That is not Hero who is walking outside, because they literally would have had to like toss Hero outside the window to get that shot. And here's where everything just really goes to shit. And Mean Hardin is back, and I'm on his side with the way how Ken acts. I mean, like I'm on his side. Like, yeah, Tessa and Trish, like they don't deserve this, but like I'm on Hardin's side here, and I'm glad that Roger said that hey, Ken deserves it. So I guess I'm not alone in that one. Because again, like it's like pretty much like hitting Hardin over the head of like like this douchebag is like talking about a villa. While me and my mom have been living, I mean, in I'm not gonna say squalor, but I mean definitely lesser, and it's like I'm on Hardin's side. Look at your fucking trousers. Yes, Hardin! At the very least, you should punch him for the pants. And I do like this more because I mean, dramatically, it's better to actually have this, take place in front of everybody and not just like this intimate dinner that it is in the books. But yeah, no, like Hardin, everything about this, Hardin nails. Like I'm on Hardin's side during this entire speech. And he's right. Ken has never owned up to anything. Ken's never apologized. Ken's never, tried to make amends. I mean, he's never done shit. And Hero breaks my heart during this scene. And I don't know how anybody calls him a terrible actor. And yes, this is important, right? I fucking watched it happen, you bam! Hit him, Hardin. Although I will say, and this is what kind of has gotten me about the teaser for After We Fell, is the shot of Hardin just wailing on Christian in the teaser. And like that to me is book Hardin. Hardin from the book is never the kind to just like punch you once and then kind of like sad panda away. But that's what he does. In like both and like the fight scenes in the first film and in After We Collided, that is Hardin. I mean, like that is like the like where he just like punches once and then and this was actually a Joe idea to take the keys and do the keys. And I do agree that, like, what, Tessa does not deserve to be treated like this. I don't think Trish deserves to be treated like this. But I am on Hardin's side, and I wish that, like, some people would, try to see this from his perspective. And I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Yeah, Twitter ruined this shot for me because like people were just like switching out music for like what he's actually listening to, and in the commentary, Roger even said like, "Oh no, I don't think he's like bopping his head, like anger, like along to the music." But it's like that's exactly what he's doing, dude. Like that's what he's doing, my dude. Like he's like literally just like sitting there like bop. Like what is he listening to? But yeah, Twitter and social media just like ruined that scene for me. only she had closed the door. Yeah, this is going to be the section that I am going to pause at some point and talk about my feelings toward Trevor. Because like this is the scene that like these are like the scenes that I really started to say, all right, I have a hatred for this character. I mean, I could pause over the last section and like towards the end of the movie, but then that's going to be like towards the end of the movie, and I don't want to do that. Just scheduling wise, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'm going to talk about Trevor here. Oh, shut up. All right, pause. Okay, all right. Before I start this, let me go ahead and say this. I have no problem with Dylan Sprouse in any of this. I do not blame Dylan. All right? I'm not blaming Dylan. This isn't an attack on Dylan, so please do not take it as that. But Trevor's character in this movie makes me really uncomfortable. And what makes me even more uncomfortable about all this is that it doesn't feel like the filmmakers realize the character that they've written. That the writers don't feel, that it doesn't feel like the writers even realize the character that they've written with Trevor. To me, Trevor is a gaslighter. Trevor is barreling toward emotionally manipulative. And especially in that scene where he says, like, he brings up his sister's addiction. And that was like the part where I started to realize I have an irrational hatred for Trevor. And I never had a problem with him in the book. Let me go ahead and say that. I never had a problem with Trevor in the book. Trevor never made that much of an impression on me in the book, but I never had a problem with him. And I'm kind of reminded of a movie that came out recently called Promising Young Woman that is actually nominated for Best Picture. It's been winning a whole bunch of stuff. It's in theaters still. It's on DVD, Blu-ray, video on demand, however you can find it. But one of the things that I actually think that film did really well is that it talks about the quote-unquote nice guys. The guys who, when you actually hear everything that they're saying, I mean, it sounds right. It sounds like they're really being nice. But when you really, really listen and you really, really pay attention to what they're saying, there is that undertone, and sometimes like this overtone, that it's not so nice what they're saying. And with Trevor, I'm kind of disturbed that I feel like, even though I do see some people agreeing with me in the chat, I feel like I'm the only one to actually realize that this is what's happening. And it's actually very disturbing to me that the filmmakers, that some of the viewers cannot see the manipulation of Trevor in the stuff that he does. Because all the stuff that he does, it never feels like he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He's doing this to get in Tessa's pants every step of the way. And even when we kind of going back to the Seattle hotel room, sex scene, when Hardin says, I'm not the one taking advantage of drunk girls, he has a point. Hardin has a point. Because when you look at that scene again, who is drunk in that scene? Tessa. Trevor isn't. I mean, Tessa is almost sloppy drunk in that scene. And yet he takes her back to the hotel room. And even when, Tessa says like, oh, I want to go get ice cream. Oh, I want to go, have like a cheeseburger or something, or whatever she says in the club scene. Like just that look that Trevor gives. It's like one of the most shadiest, like weirdest looks I've ever actually seen. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I've seen people talk about how much they love Trevor. And it's really scary to see that, where it's like, I feel like I'm one of the few people who realizes the creepiness of Trevor. And it's really scary that some cannot see the pure disturbingness of this character. And he even does something later on in this film, which I could have paused there, because I can go into like a whole discussion on, when Tessa, finds out that Trevor is pretty much the cause of all of her heartache over the 9 days. That, it was because of what Trevor said. And the fact that Tessa did not, pretty much say, bitch, I kill you, and I'm going to shove those glasses so far up your ass. It's one of those moments. And again, the reason why I'm saying this now is because I do have other stuff to do today, and I have other people who are doing stuff today. So yeah, like that's why I'm kind of like talking about this now. But she has such an underreaction when it's revealed that Trevor, is pretty much the cause of her heartbreak over the 9 days. It was because of what Trevor said to Hardin. And again, that is not his place. Let's go ahead and be clear here. There is no love triangle between Trevor, Hardin, and Tessa. Despite what the marketing team tried to do, there is no love triangle here. And the worst part is that even if they attempted a love triangle, it wouldn't make sense, because I don't know how people can sit here and, talk about how toxic and abusive and, possessive and all the stuff that they want to throw at Hardin, but not a single person can bring up that Trevor has his own issues in this film. I know that Hardin is our main lead. I know that he is our romantic hero. He is our, love interest. But Trevor has a whole host of other issues too. So it's like, if you want to smack around Hardin for the shit that he does, you have to smack around Trevor, because at some points they're pretty much the same way. Because like a lot of the stuff that you can say about Hardin is the same stuff that I can sit here and until the cows come home, start, labeling with Trevor. And I did not mean to go on a rant about this, but I have an irrational hatred of Trevor in this movie. And like I said, I am fine with him in the book. I did not think two ways of him about him in the book. He was actually kind of, charming in the book. In the movie, I don't know what happened here. But it's kind of disturbing that it feels like the filmmakers don't realize the character that they have written with Trevor. And I am sorry to go on this rant, and I know I probably blew out some of your eardrums, but I have an irrational hatred of Trevor, and I was going to say this at some point during this commentary. So yeah, let me see if I can get Amazon Prime to, kind of, get back working. And let's go ahead and keep going. Come on, movie. Get that man off my screen. Come on. All right, yeah, press play. This was originally supposed to go during the 9 days, by the way. If you're wondering how the hell does like Hardin all of a sudden have like a flip phone, is because this was supposed to be during the 9 days. Hardin and Ken kind of like patching everything up. And I wish that they turned down the music. Because like I would have loved to actually see, actually like a written scene, Ken and Hardin, patching things up. And don't quote me here, and I think Roger even said in his commentary, don't quote him. But during one of Joe's interviews, she actually said that this was actually one of her favorite scenes from the film. This scene of just them, kind of like sitting on the couch and just hanging out. Tessa reading while, Hardin. If you read the book, then you know exactly what Hardin's writing. Sorry, I'm just preparing for something that's coming up because I did actually write something. Or at least write down something that I said. And kind of reminding you that, yes, Christian Vance does have a role in this film. Roger even admits it in his commentaries, like reminding you that Christian Vance is a part of this story. And by the way, I'm not a woman, in case you couldn't tell. But for any women in the audience, this whole part where Hardin comes up behind her and says, oh, why are you taking so long? And it's like, oh, being like, what's taking so long? And Tessa's like, oh, being a woman. Did that land for anybody? Like, did anybody like applaud or stand up or like cheer on that line? Like, did that line just like land for anybody? So I'm not going to put my words into anybody else's mouth. But this is not Bokessa, by the way. Outside of Hero and Joe, this is the worst scene in the film. This New Year's Eve party sequence, in terms of acting, is the worst scene in the film. But here's a little behind the scenes with this one. They apparently there was like a lightning storm when they were filming all of these scenes, and so when lightning strikes or when there's lightning, you have to shut down. You have to completely stop filming. You have to shut everything down, and so this day was a bitch to film. Because I think that the Roger said in the commentary they had to stop about 3 or 4 times, I think. Cherry vodka sour. Oh, shut up. Like, what was that little Shining Twins, like, unison thing? Like, what was that? And this extra behind them, he is becoming a celebrity in the fandom. Which, by the way, y'all need to return your FBI badges, because yes, this fandom is like the FBI, but like y'all need to return your, because I have yet to see one person find out who is this guy. Like, we always love to talk about like how much this fandom is like the FBI, man. Y'all have to hand your shit back. And this is like one of those relationships that kind of got hurt in the, this film is going to be 90 minutes, or this film is going to be an hour and a half or hour and 45 minutes, and not some mini series. And I think that Roger has admitted on multiple occasions that if he could do anything differently, he would do this as a mini series. And the Zed and Tessa relationship is definitely the one that got hurt the most. But yeah, you can kind of see outside, and I know they're kind of playing it off as like some lighting in the like some lighting like overhead, but like, oh, you can kind of see that it is raining. Like, that does kind of look like rain a little bit. Oh, this scene. I know that there's a scene where Zed and talk about tattoos in the book, but if you cannot do the scene as is, do not just switch it. Like, what was this? This tattoo talk? I know that these two are actually really in a relationship, but, you know, why? I would have preferred them actually shooting, you know, Hardin talking to Jamie. Like, actually show Hardin trying to make amends. Show Hardin and Jamie talking. And of course, like, Tessa just can't let this go. Tessa is just like, if only she had walked out the door with Hardin. If only they had just left. Wondrick. Yeah, like Tessa just get like, oh, if only she had left. Everything that comes next is literally because she could not just leave with Hardin. She just had to come back. Yeah, Aaron, I agree. I agree. I love Sam Larson, but that scene was cringy. LOL. Yeah, I agree. I'm fine with Sam Larson. I'm fine with all these actors. I just, that might be a little wink and a nod to what's coming in the next movie, although we're not going to get the frat gang. All right, for what comes next, either you guys are gonna, you know, laugh and have a good time, or you're just gonna fucking hate me. Because I'm gonna have like way too much fun with this fight. And by the way, I'm not a fan of Hardin's little "you are." I mean, this scene was already controversial in terms of the slut shaming. I know it's in the book. I know that that's like the defense, but yeah, like a lot of people are just not a fan of the slut shaming, and Hardin's little "you are" is, I think, that makes this scene just worse. Now, completely disregard what I just said, and watch as I, either you guys will laugh and have a good time, or you're gonna hate me. Molly gonna get her comeuppance. Little Ortiz leaps over Hardin and tackles the bitch to the ground. They both go tumbling over a chair. I knew you couldn't count Ortiz. Ortiz quick with the hair pull and bringing the bitch to her feet. Bitch reaching back for the neck grab and is successful. Bitch has Ortiz by the hair, but Ortiz isn't going down without a fight. Ortiz counters with a slapping bandit, and it looks like that hurt. Ortiz now with a punch, and man, this isn't a good night for Molly the Bitch Samuels. Both fighters now gripping hair, both go down. Bitch tries to get the upper hand, but no, she kind of Ortiz, who has a bitch pinned in. Interference by Hardin. Yeah, the interference by Hardin. But we can all agree Ortiz has won with ease. Man, what a tough loss for the bitch. She wasn't expecting that, but that's what happens when you get cocky. Here's the big line from Tessa. Here it comes. Say it with me, everybody. Happy New Year, bitch! Of course, like I said, Tessa Little Ortiz Young has won the fight with relative ease. Of course, I have to give a shout out to the 4 badass women who made this fight possible. That, of course, is Josephine Langford, Inanna Sarkis, and their stunt doubles, Jesse Fisher for Josephine Langford and Nicole Marines for Molly. Let's give a big round of applause for our fighters, because without them, this fight wouldn't be possible. And, of course, we got a little UFC moment from Tessa. I'm sorry. Like I said, either you guys are going to have fun with that or you're going to hate me. But, yeah, no, this was actually planned because that is a stunt. So, yeah, them actually falling over, they had to plan that because that is a stunt and you don't want your actors getting hurt. And sometimes it's just funny just to state the obvious, just pants. And I especially love Hero's little gag reel moment where he's like, you know, are you objectifying me? Why, yes, I am, Mr. Scott. All right, then. Go on. Is the door... Boy, you were the one who had her over your shoulder. Like, you're the one who should know if the door is locked. Fuck off. And pretty much everything from here on, it is the dramatic. So yeah, like Roger said in the commentary, he does know when to pull back, you know, with the comedy. But his big defense of um, why he did insert the comedy is that he really did not want this to be like a bummer summer, you know, melodramatic movie. Because I mean, it would have gotten to be too much if you literally are sitting here like an entire hour and 45 minutes of just, you know, just complete bummer summer. Okay, I've never been in a frat house, but can somebody who has, do they have lockers? Because that's like the weirdest set design of this entire thing. Is the lockers. The lockers kind of throw me. And of course, this is the scene that we all know. And this was hell to shoot. And she just actually kissed Hero's stand-in. And a little behind the scenes, when they were actually filming this, when they were shooting Joe's coverage of this scene, they actually shot Joe's coverage first. Hero actually gave 120 billion%. And, you know, like he was giving like the full performance. And they were like so worried that he was going to lose his voice. And Roger even said, dude, you got to stop yelling. Like, you're going to lose your voice. You still have to shoot your side of this. But no, he wanted to be there 100% for Joe. He wanted to give her, you know, the performance that she deserved while she was shooting his coverage. And again, I mean, maybe they're together, maybe they're not. But that to me says that they at least have this great, you know, friendship, this great working relationship. To where Hero says, I'm going to go ahead and give this girl, the performance that she deserves, even when the camera's not on me. And Joe just like, man, she just breaks heart in this scene. Like, I don't know how people look at this and say that these two can't act. Because this is like the one scene that I've seen, made fun of on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram. Like, I've seen this scene just like really knocked. And I don't know how you look at that and say that these two are terrible actors. And like I said, and it's like Roger said, like everything from here on out, it is the seriousness. So he does know when to pull back from the comedy. And they just hit Hero with like the harshest light that they could. And the way how they shot this car accident coming up, they actually reversed the footage. So you see the truck coming toward Tessa. It's actually going in reverse. They actually shot it in reverse. And another thing that, hold on, I'll wait for it to actually pop up. And this was actually the accident that I was in. It happened the same way. Light turns green. I start to go. This person completely runs the light and just like whacks my car. And a little behind the scenes, when Hardin gets out of the car, like all their direction was to Hero was go, 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 go. And so he actually ran at full speed every single time. They had no idea how fast this guy could run, and he actually caught the ambulance during one of the that's the. I'm sorry, that's not gonna be funny. Um, but yeah, he actually caught the ambulance during one of the takes. And again, like Hero breaks your heart here, and you can even see like the little tear in his eyes. And a little behind the scenes, the direction that Roger gave to Shane and Hero was Tessa's dead and it's fucking on. Like Tessa's dead and it's it is on. And again, Shane just proven that he is so underutilized in these films. And again, like Hero just breaks your heart. And this is not Book Hardin. What happens next is not Book Hardin. Because if Trevor talked to him like that in the book, like I said on Twitter, Hardin would have found some supernatural way to appear at that damn hospital. And Trevor is so in the wrong with this one. He has no right to be saying this shit. And I hate that this is the kickoff of the 9 days. But again, I mean, you kind of gotta. You kind of do, because again, like this is Hardin's. This is Hardin. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? This is Hardin's hang up. I mean, this is his. Low self confidence. That again, like this is like the thing that he keeps thinking about. Like, I'm no good for this woman. Like I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And so yeah, it's like, well, what do you do? And here we have the 9 days. And I know that in the book, the 9 days are like 40 plus pages, and you especially when you have a short movie, you're gonna have to condense it. You're gonna have to do everything you can to kind of shorten it, and not have it like take like 20-30 minutes. But to me, you blew it. Other than Hero and Joe, you blew it. You blew this scene. Because this is the one scene, like one of the scenes from the book that the fans are anticipating, and you blew it. And I hated how much Roger would kept saying in the commentary when he was talking about the music, when he was saying like, "Oh, the music is like carrying the emotions." The music should not be carrying the emotions. The music should never be playing that heavy of a lifting. It should be on the writing. It should be on the actors. You should never fall back on the music. And this is not Hardin's letter from the book, by the way. So yeah, when we said that we wanted Hardin's, letter from the book, I don't think that this is what anybody meant. But yeah, this is just one of those scenes that it's like you blew it. You blew this scene. And I know that there are people, who actually really like this movie, and I do too. I'm actually getting a little bit higher on this film the more that I actually see it. But yeah, no, this is like one of those scenes where it's like I can't. Like I'll never be able to prop up this scene. And pretty much like another behind the scenes thing, when they were filming this, um, he accidentally lied to Joe and told her like, "Oh, we're not going to be recording any sound." Um, during this call during the 9 days, and it's just like, turn down the music, let this scene play. Like, you don't prop the music over. But I will give them credit. We knew that Louise was going to do the nightmares. We knew that was coming. I will give them credit for hiding this, for hiding that Joe also took place, that they did do the scene where Tessa takes the place of Trish in the nightmares. I will give them credit for that. I would say that the only things that are actually working about the 9 days is Hero and Joe. That's it. Okay, I have a question. Okay, is this room? This is like a great. This is like a nice scene between Trish and Hardin, but like I'm gonna talk about this room in a second. But because this so feels like your dime a dozen, cliched romantic, film comedy, endings where somebody comes to the lead guy and says, "Hey, you've been a fucking douchebag, and you better go get her. Stop moping around and go get your girl." But let's talk about the set design in this, because that house looks bigger than I ever thought that it would be when reading about it in the book. Like that house looks like so like it might not be like the McMansion that Ken has, but it does not look that bad. Especially when you compare the reading of it. Like when you actually read the book and you kind of read about like how like how rundown Trish's house is, like it never felt like this. And so I was like kind of like taken aback when I saw this, because it was like, man, that house, that room looks like that house looks like way too nice. And there's a little another wink and a nod to where this is going with Trish knowing about what's going on with Vance. Yeah, get your ass off the sofa and go get her. Yeah, this is the cliched romantic, film slash romantic comedy ending, and that is so not these books. And that's like something that's actually like really like driven me a wall about these films. Is that you have these books that are so not your dime a dozen that could have been something special, and then you kind of turn the films into basically your dime a dozen, romantic comedy, films. And I hope that Castile and fixes that for the next two final films. Oh, Trevor, go away. And this is the last time that we're going to see all these actors playing these roles. So the last time we're going to see Charlie Weber, Max Ragone, Candace King, because they switched them all for the next films. Fortunately, they were not able to come back. This is so cute. Oh. And I am missing a lot about, from the book with this scene. I'm missing, Tessa hearing, Smith and Hardin talk. Like these great scenes between, Hardin and Christian. But yeah, no, the setup there, you need a lot more than just, she went out the door. You need a lot more than that to set up that relationship. And oh, this bugged me. This scene bugged me. And I'm never gonna move past this criticism. For any women in the audience watching this, tell me I'm wrong, because it feels like she's like they're so underplaying Tessa's reaction here, where this guy literally says to her, "Hey, by the way, I'm the reason for all your pain and misery over the last 9 days," and she does not even react. I feel like anybody else would have said, "Bitch, I kill you. I'm going to take those glasses and shove them up your ass." And there's another gaslighting thing. You bring out that side of me, and people wonder why I hate Trevor. People wonder why I hate Trevor. Yeah, that you bring out that side. Good God, Trevor. Yeah, to set up the Hardin and Vance relation, you need more than this. She left from the front. Like, you need way more than this. And I actually really do like this Romeo and Juliet shot here, where it almost looks like a scene straight out of Romeo and Juliet, with like him down there, her up there in the balcony. Which, let me go ahead and just reveal something about me. If it was me, I so would have made that joke. I so would have made that joke. And I kind of like how underplayed this scene is, because it's like, you're never gonna leave me alone, and it's like, because like what more can you say at this point? Like, after all that they've been through, like what more can you say to each other? And yeah, it was yeah. I feel so bad for Joe having to walk down there in heels. And a great little switch there. And originally, this was going to be a Miley Cyrus song. In the temp score, they did have a Miley Cyrus song, but apparently they found out at the last second that Miley is not licensing that song, so they were not able to use it. But yeah, in the temp soundtrack that they originally used, this was a Miley Cyrus. Fuck off, Trevor. Bye. That is the end of Trevor's story. See ya. And here we are, pretty much like bookending the movie with Clay. Clay! Clay! Again, I'm never going to get tired of praising Clay. I love Clay. Sorry, I'm never going to get tired of praising Clay. And this was actually Joe. This wasn't in the script. This wasn't planned. That was actually Joe putting her head on, Hero's shoulder. And this is, I'm so glad that we knew that we were going to get the next two films. Because, oh, this cliffhanger would have been such a bitch if we did not get the next two films. Has Tessa found her dad? Tune in next season on After to find out just how Tessa will react to finding out that her father is back alive. Same After channel, same After time. And of course, as we kind of go through the credits, I kind of want to, follow Roger's lead here and talk about the credits and talk actually over the credits. Because you know what? Like I've always tried to drill into your heads, it takes a village to make a movie. It takes a village to actually, make a movie, make a TV show, make all of our entertainments. And a lot of the time, the credits, people will pretty much like run out of the theater. They'll stop. Netflix will already have, kind of kicked up. Next thing starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But yeah, these people deserve all the credit in the world. Lynn Mitchell, just like all of these people, Justin Burnett. But yeah, overall, I'm actually higher on this film than I was in the very beginning. Not that much higher because there's still a lot of things that I really do not like about this film. I feel like I'm not talking out of school here. I feel like this criticism has been brought up time and time again, which is that the film is too short. The film is way too short. It is way too short and way too rushed. And a lot of that, I think, really hurt this film. Because like I said, especially when it comes to like the 9 days and something like that, you really need to have the emotions there. And it just felt like to me that the 9 days, they blew it. They blew the 9 days. And that's like one of the main scenes that people are really looking forward to. I do love some of the casting in this film. Like I've already said, Joe and Hero will always be amazing. This is all Dylan Sprouse, by the way. Like this was not written. This was just Dylan improving, and they wanted to kind of put this in the film, but they were like, okay, where do we put this? And so just like put this thing over the credits. Again, that's another way to actually get people to stay for the credits. But yeah, I still love the casting in this film. Louise Lombard, of course, is taken right from the pages. She is Trish. Rob Estes, I like him better as Ken, mainly because I'll never stop seeing Peter Gallagher as Sandy Cohen. So it was kind of hard to, see Sandy Cohen, as Ken and kind of hear like all the stuff that Ken did and like all the problems that Ken had and all the ways that Ken acted, because I was still seeing Sandy Cohen. But yeah, Shane will always be Landon. I'm sure that Chance will do a great job. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing Chance as Landon. But Shane really was pitch perfect, and this film kind of proves that they really did underutilize him in the films. They really did underuse him in the films. And yeah, Taylor, you just nailed it. There are things that I would change from the film, but I still enjoyed it the more that I watched it. Yeah, that really does nail it. That there are problems that I have, there are issues that I have with it. There are things that I would change. There were things that I would do differently. But yeah, no, this is like I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. And don't let anyone ever convince you that this is the worst film of the year. And because I can already see it coming, I can already call it. Critics are going to say the same thing about After We Fell. Don't let them convince you of that. Because already this year, I have seen worse films. Unless they completely botch After We Fell, there is no way that After We Fell is going to be the worst film of the year. Just like After We Collided was not the worst film of 2020. I saw way worse last year. And this film is also not the complete clusterfuck that that some people want to try to turn it into. Is there things that I would change? Are there things that I would do differently? Yeah, but it's not the complete wash that a lot of people try to turn it into. And let me go ahead and say this. I'm not just changing my tune because, again, during Roger's commentary, if you actually stay to the very end, he does shout out a lot of us, including me. And no, I'm not just changing my tune because of, Roger giving me the shout out. I was starting to feel like that way before before I found out that Roger gave me a shout out during the commentary. But yeah, no, this is not the worst film of the year. This is not the worst film of all time. Don't let anybody ever convince you of that. If you enjoy this film, if you enjoy this film more than me, enjoy the film. Don't let me change your mind. Don't let me, don't let anybody ever change your mind on something. I mean, in terms of, entertainment. Like, if you love something, fucking love it. Fuck everybody else. It's your opinion. That's the great thing about movies. Nobody is ever going to have the same opinion. Like, nobody. I mean, that's just the amazing thing about movies and about entertainment in general. So yeah, don't let anybody ever try to convince you, not to like something. Don't let anybody ever tear you down. Don't let anybody ever, beat you down or, make you feel like you were less than just because you like something. Because again, I can bring it up again. I was terminated because somebody felt like, a guy cannot be a fan of the After series, which, I mean, fuck that person. I mean, if you love this series, love it. If you love the After films, love them. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise, because I'm really, really sick and tired of seeing people say, oh, you're an After fan? Well, you just wiped away anything that, that you actually said. That, oh, your opinion doesn't matter because, oh, you're a fan of After, or, oh, you're a fan of Joe Langford, or, oh, you're a fan of Hero Finds Tiffin, so that means that your opinion doesn't matter. Fuck them. Of course your opinion matters. And stop doing shit like that. Stop using what people love as a way to smack them around. I saw it happen with Twilight. I saw it happen with 50 Shades. I kind of did this with 365 Days, but I saw it happen with 365 Days. I've seen it happen with Mamma Mia. Don't ever let anybody wipe you away because of something that you love. If you love this thing, fucking love it. Don't let me change your mind. Don't let anybody else change your mind for the world. Love this film because there is a lot to like about this film. And so don't let anybody convince you that this is the worst film of all time, because it really fucking isn't. I've seen films that are worse. When people try to convince you that, After We Fell is the worst film of the year, don't you fucking let them do it. because I've already seen something this year that, unless they somehow completely fuck up After We Fell, is never, ever going to be the worst film of the year. After We Fell is never going to be the worst film of the year, and After We Collided was not the worst film of the year. And so, you know what? If you're still here, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. We actually got through this. Yes, the computer issues did not happen during this thing, and I am so grateful for every single one of you. Please, please, please always remember that, you know what? This channel would not be able to grow to the heights that it has without you guys, and so for that, I am eternally grateful. If you like what you see here, and if this is your first time, seeing the channel, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Please keep sharing. Please keep sharing the channel. Please keep spreading the word of Charles's movie channel. I know that this is going to sound hyperbolic. I know I probably sound very stupid whenever I say this, but you know what? This is easily one of the best after series channels you'll find right here on YouTube, or dare I say anywhere. Always remember, you are not alone. You are worth it. You are loved. And don't you ever, 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 ever let anybody convince you otherwise. I love every single one of you. Every single one of you, because without you, this channel would not be where it is today. This channel and me would not be where I am today. So thank you very much. I love every single one of you. And please, please, please look after yourselves. Please make sure that you're okay, because if you're okay, that means that I'm okay. I can't be okay unless I know that you're okay, because I love every single one of you. So keep sharing the channel. Keep spreading the word of Charles's movie channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I love you. I'll see you next time. After fans, thank you. Goodbye. Love you.